Hey, what's up everybody? Couldn't resist playing that. How are you guys? The beard's gone. I'm 10 years younger. Went back in time. Before harsh and depressive times. Thankfully, most people missed the commercial. I'll play it again. Just for the sake of playing it again. How are you guys? I'm back. This is episode 101. Yeah, it is episode 101. 101 of the Goddamned Q&A. How are you people today? How are you? I'm good. Have a big announcement to make. Why do I always have these big announcements to make? It's like every 2 Q&As. It's not every Q&A. It's just every 2 or 3 Q&As I have an announcement to make. It's like, oh god. Erick has an announcement to make. Oh, here we go again. Fucking guy and his fucking announcements. God damn it. Dislike and unsubscribe. I'm not watching this clown anymore. Fuck Erick Landon RPG. Cancel Erick Landon RPG. Should change the channel's name to Mr. Announcements Guy. You know, originally this channel's name was gonna be Mr. Complaints. I'm not kidding. What's up, Glenn? What's up, Fritz? What's up, Morbid? What's up, Seth? What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. I'm gonna wait for more people to join to make my announcement, but if you can't wait, if you seriously can't wait for me to make my awesome announcement, my announcement number 127, there's a link in the description to my Patreon page. There's a big post in there you can read for free, although I would rather have you go to my blog, also linked to it in the description, because there's like the definitive version of the post, the remastered version of the post, of the announcement. If you seriously can't wait, if you can't hold it in, he's like, oh my god, I'm dying to know what Erick has to say. Do that. Link in the description. Time to dislike and unsubscribe. Remake announcement of the post, not remaster. Oh yeah, you need to remember the difference between a remake and a remaster, okay? This post is not a remake, it's a remaster. The post in my blog is a remastered version of the post in my Patreon page. Got that? Wanna watch the commercial again? Can I play the commercial again? No, it's too soon. It's too soon. When people watch this after it's over, they're gonna be like, no, I just saw it, man, don't play it again. It's not a reimagining, it's not a reboot, it's not a port, it's not an enhanced port, it's not a remake, it's a remaster. Get it? Now, seriously, people, just, I'll explain everything in a bit. There's some news coming, a brand new video. The type of video I've never done before. Something completely new and original. Something completely new in this channel. Something that's never happened before. I think the closest it gets is a certain video that I did exactly 2 years ago when a certain remaster of a game came out. And that was the fantabulous, ginormous, commercially successful and critically acclaimed Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition. That's the closest I can think of, but that was done live. And it didn't turn out very well. Still, the video was successful, but it's close to that. But it's not gonna be live. It's no live things anymore. Nothing of the sort. So, I'm gonna wait for more people. Wait for more people to join. Come on, so I can turn this into a clip. So let's begin with your goddamn questions. I already wasted 5 minutes of your precious time. A lot of people already left and unsubscribed and moved on to other TikTok videos, man. Can't let that happen, man. Thank you, Blade of Merd. Instead of Bird, Merd. Thank you. You shouldn't congratulate me for that. It's just NIS America decided to send that to me. They also sent one for Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 on the PS5. Oh yeah! Those games are now available on the PlayStation 5. They got a PS5 port. They are an enhanced port. There's some things to say about them. I don't know if I'm gonna make a review, just like I did with The Legend of Legacy. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of interest because these games are kinda old, but who cares, right? It's worth doing a video just to say thanks to NIS America for sending these special editions to me. The least I could do was that for The Legend of Legacy. I knew the video was gonna fail, but I was like, man, it's the least I can do, right? Just making like full reviews of games that are like really, really obscure, and most people don't care about them. It's not worth it. I usually save these videos, these reviews for my top 10s or others, you know, but I was like, the least I can do is this, you know. They asked me to do an unboxing, and I was like, you know what, I don't do unboxings. It's just unboxings, man. That's gonna get like 2,000 views max. So I proposed the idea to them. I was like, I'm gonna make a review and an unboxing in the same video. How's that? Cool. And they sent both. Thanks, NIS America. Thank you, Elusive Mage. They don't send them to everyone, so you must be doing something right. Last year, Square Enix was gonna send me one for Star Ocean: The Second Story R, but as soon as I told them I was from Mexico, they were like, yeah, you know, Eric, that's gonna be a bit of an issue, so how about we just send you a review code? And that's what they did. But NIS America said no. These guys always recommending our games, reviewing our games, asking for codes. We always send them to him. He reviews them. He makes videos about our games. Thank you, Eric. Here are 2 special editions, but please do an unboxing for both. And that's what happened. They spend a lot of money. Sending stuff to Mexico is expensive, people. Fuck this country, really. Fuck the postal service in this country. Fuck the customs in this country. Oh yeah, and they still went through all of that shit to send me 2 special editions. Thank you very fucking much, NIS America, goddammit. But Square Enix? Too stingy. I wonder what this original announcement is. Ooh, I have 54 people watching. Let's do this. I'll be repeating myself throughout the entirety of the... I'm gonna make a poll. A fake poll is gonna be like... I have an announcement to make, and the options are gonna be like, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, not funny. These jokes. Funniest guy on the internet, right? So fucking funny, man. Anyway, so a little bit more. 4 people left. They said, oh, he's gonna make an announcement. Fuck you, Eric. I'll come back when you're willing to answer my damn questions. So I'm gonna answer some questions right now to be respectful and inclusive to those people. Got my copy of Daybreak pre-order for Switch. Any thoughts about the sweet baby Inky situation? Again, they're still going on with that? That's old news. Didn't we talk about that like 10 streams ago? Is that related to the Stellar Blade game? If it is, yeah, we already talked about that. How these feminists got... I gotta read this guy. Check out this guy. Stop proudly using the Lord name in vain. You're embarrassing yourself. What's so great and cool about using JD as a title? It really irritates me you do that. I'm unsubscribing to your channel. I love you, man. Thanks for... You just made my day with that comment. I love that comment. That's awesome. Thank you for being a fan. Is it about time and eternity? No. Nah. Did you ever try Seven Pirates Age on Switch? I'd like to, even though it doesn't look like my type of game. I'd love to try it out. The Suikoden 3 battle theme. One of those themes that grow on you. They're kind of like, at the beginning it's like, but they grow on you. It grows on you. It's pretty good. Okay, nobody's asking questions, so I'll do the announcement. So, if you go right now, please do me the courtesy of going right now. If you want to, there's a post in my blog, and the same post is there on Patreon. The blog has the definitive version of the post, by the way. Anybody can read these posts for free, even in Patreon. So I'm launching a new video in a couple of days. Big video. It's gonna be about an hour and a half. It's already done. The video is actually ready. Edited last night. And at the beginning, it was only going to be a podcast. Some kind of just podcast, just audio. Nothing to watch, just to listen to, like a podcast. And something happened last night, yesterday, and I figured it out, and I turned it into a video. For those of you who like to sit down on your asses, grab your fucking phones, and watch an hour and a half long video on a small screen, you will be able to do that with this video. What is this video? I feel like I want to read whatever I wrote in the blog. Like, I didn't prepare a speech, man. I didn't prepare a speech. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go to my blog and maybe capture the screen. I'm just gonna read it to you guys because it's too long. This is the video version. This is not the remake, not the remaster. This is the enhanced port live video format. HD, actually low HD, standard HD, 720p of my post. It reads, "Hello everybody, I'm about to launch a brand new video podcast on YouTube. Oh yeah! In every episode, I will cover a new RPG in a full, deep analysis, meaning they're basically going to be super long reviews. Sometimes there's just so much to say about games that I feel simple 15-minute long reviews don't do them justice. That's true, it's happened to me before with several games. Which is why I repeat myself over and over again, and I cover the same games like 10,000 times in top 10s. No, I'm just kidding. Surprisingly though, these video podcast episodes will go between 1 and 2 hours long. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to say the least. Now, I have edited all of my tiers on my Patreon page, link to my Patreon page in the description. My tiers, there's a Steel Sword members are now officially funding this podcast. If you're already a Steel Sword member, you don't have to do anything. Just keep being awesome, keep being there, keep funding the podcast. You're now officially funding the podcast. Silver Sword members are funding it too, but also have access to Erick Landon Uncensored. Erick Landon Uncensored is a podcast I launched about a year ago, and it's been like 20-something episodes so far, so if you join right now as a Silver Sword member, you can listen to all of these episodes. This podcast is private, okay? It's exclusive to Patreon. You can't listen to it anywhere else. But this new video podcast about RPGs, that's gonna be public on YouTube. But there's also a brand new tier called Platinum Sword. In this one, you are greatly funding both podcasts, but there's 2 extra benefits, okay? You will get access to the video podcast before it is posted on YouTube, and you will also have a special thanks mention in the podcast itself. This is not going to happen for this first episode because it's already been edited and recorded, and the video is ready, and I need to see how it goes, okay? So starting the second episode, if you choose the Platinum Sword tier, I think it's $10 a month. I say I think because you may be from a different country and it might be less than that or a little bit more, and maybe taxes are involved. I don't know, it's just international economies, man. So yeah. And starting the second episode, everybody on Platinum Sword is gonna get access, like a preview, early access to the podcast. And their names will be mentioned as a special thanks in the episode. Note, if you are already paying $10 or more per month on Patreon, you don't have to do anything. You'll get access to everything in this tier automatically. If you pay, I don't know, right now, I know some of you are like $10, $15, $20 a month. Thank you. You guys are fucking awesome for that. You don't have to do anything, you know. It's just, you will get these benefits automatically. Now, let me read the chat in case I missed something important. Fuck! Any questions so far? No? Nothing? Well, okay, so save your questions for after the post is over. Let's continue. Now, everybody, the first episode of the show is going to cover Persona 3 Reload. But actually, I'm comparing it to all the previous versions, so you could say it's kind of like a full review of all versions. It will be uploaded as next Tuesday, as I mentioned, a couple of days from now. Maybe by the time you watch this, the video is already up. You watching this in the future, maybe the video is up already. So, why Persona 3? There's like several reasons, okay? Because I just beat the game a couple of weeks ago, because it's a big deal for me, because it's one of my 10 favorite video games of all time, top 10 favorite RPGs of all time, so it is a big deal for me. Why did I choose Persona 3 as the pilot episode? I could have chosen another game, like how about Chrono Cross? How about Time and Eternity, right? How about my Riding Stables? No. Instead, I chose Persona 3. It was a coincidence, you know, I had been planning to do this video podcast for a long time, since last year, and I decided to launch it today, and Persona 3 was just an excuse to do it. So it was just a coincidence. But yeah, the game is a big deal to me, and it's one of those games that there's just so freaking much to say about it, that I could just record a regular scripted review that's gonna be like 15 minutes long. You know, I think this game, for me personally, deserves more. So here's a little FAQ I've created for this upcoming video podcast. FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions. Of course, if you want to ask something about this, feel free to do that in the chat right now. So, question number 1. Is this the direction the channel is going to take? No, man. Do you think I'm just going to do video podcasts from now on? All Q&As? No. I wish, but no. No, the answer is no. This is just new content that I'll be introducing to my channel. This is not the direction it'll take. I will still continue to upload regular videos. You know, reviews, top 10s, lists, rankings, etc., right? Question number 2, how often will this podcast be? How many episodes are going to be there for a week or month, right? Answer, unfortunately, I don't have a straight answer for this, because this is going to be the first episode and I need to see how much funding it gets on Patreon and how many views and revenue it gets on YouTube. The podcast is going to be public after all, and I need to see how it does before I can commit to making a certain number of them per month. It's like I've tried several different video ideas for the past several years, and if something works, you know, it stays, and if something doesn't work, it goes away. Okay, so, however, I am dedicated to making at least one per month if the pilot works. If it does well, you know, I'm not setting the bar too high on terms of views and revenue. My expectations are on the bare minimum right now. So as long as it does okay, you know, I'll do another one. Once a month sounds like a good idea. Okay, I will commit to 2 per month if the series starts doing well. But I couldn't do more than 2 per month, because then it will actually feel as if that is the direction my channel will take. Yeah, I know you people. You're gonna be like, oh, Erick, Landon's just gonna do a video podcast from now on. If I only do like 2-3 per month, that's what people are gonna say. So I don't want to do that. So I still want to make regular videos. So doing more than 2 episodes per month sounds crazy right now. Question number 3. This is the big question, guys. Okay, why do you need funding for this? Why do I need funding? Why am I mentioning Patreon Why? Okay, so check this out. There's another post that I posted before that big post, this big post, the previous post called about the future of my channel. If you read it, cool. Maybe you understand. If you don't, please read it so you understand what's going on. Or if you've been attending the Q&As for the past few months, actually, you already know what's going on. So anyway, I'll get to your question. I see a lot of questions about this already. Some good questions, actually. Thank you, Inane Dreams. Let me finish and I'll get to you. Anything you want to ask, just wait a bit. I'm almost done. So why do I need funding for this? Okay, so obviously, the answer is, these episodes are not going to get much revenue or even views. Hell, some might even be shadow banned. Okay, there will be a bit of swearing after all. Just the bare minimum, Well, if I ever cover a game that I'm, angry about, there might be a little bit more swearing and cursing than usual. But if the video, like Persona 3, I just recorded the episode and there's maybe 1 or 2 F-bombs and that's it. But anyway, but in this pilot episode, I'll be criticizing the Persona 3 Reload censorship. And you know the kind of people that's gonna piss off, right? Including YouTube. So you see where I'm going, right? So some of these episodes might be shadow banned. They might get censored by YouTube. They might not recommend them. I don't know what's going to happen. So that's one of the reasons why I need funding. You also have to consider several things. One, the previous post that I made in this blog, the one that maybe you probably read it. If you didn't, link it to my blog in the description. 2, the length of every episode. I know there are many YouTube videos and deep analysis of games with hundreds of thousands of views. There are. 3-hour-long videos that have 500,000 views, and man, that's more than a movie. But I highly doubt my video podcast is going to be one of those, because I'm me. Which leads me to 3. It's a podcast. It will have gameplay footage, and it will work as a video. Okay, but let's face it, I think most of you are only going to listen to it, not watch it. But if you want to sit down through the episode is an hour and 28 minutes long. Okay, if you want to sit down and watch it on your TV, computer, phone, by parts, or sit through the whole thing, up to you. Whatever you do with this episode, I will greatly appreciate it, guys. But yeah, most people are just going to listen to it, not watch it. But if you want to watch it, be my guest. It is a video. It's not just a podcast. It is a video. There's a lot of gameplay footage and some editing in there and screenshots and wallpapers, etc. So in conclusion, there's barely going to be any revenue from this, which is why I'm asking for funding on Patreon. So I'm fighting here against censorship, against lazy viewers, against the algorithm. Oh yeah, that's the big one. And pretty much against the length of the video. It's just an hour and a half long video. Is not going to appeal to a lot of people, especially because this channel has been known for making, most of my videos have been 15 minutes long, around that time frame. So yeah. So, and why a podcast and not a full regular video, like a review or something like that? Why not make reviews? Why just podcast, First and foremost, this is not in the vlog, but first and foremost, because I already do a lot of reviews and I can't just do more reviews. I just want to try different things. I want this channel to be about different things and different video formats and experiment with it. So the answer is it works better as some kind of video podcast, unscripted, since it's meant to be a 1 or 2 hour long experience. And like I said before, I will add some gameplay footage, screenshots, and wallpapers to make it watchable. But there's an edit here. I just finished editing the entire video, and I did add a crap ton of gameplay. I just had a lot of it already recorded, so it felt like a waste not to use it. Sure, the editing is not like in my regular videos, right? You're not gonna see a lot of cuts, and you're gonna see a lot of entire long sequences of one recording session for a bit, be it a battle or a scene or something. But it's there. It's gameplay footage through and through, and I think that's gonna make the video just that, a video, something worth watching. Although I'd like to point out that I also added a lot of screenshots and wallpapers for some parts. There was a lot of scenes that I was like, okay, if I add a scene here, it might have strong spoilers. So instead I've just added a wallpaper, and I think it works better. So I'd say it's at 70% gameplay, 30% screenshots. Of course, it's still a podcast meant to be listened to, but if someone wants to treat it as a video, it's still going to be very worth watching and very entertaining as a video. Just keep in mind, this first episode is not going to have any music for two reasons. One, because it's an hour and a long video, okay? So, and I think music distracts people, so it's better if you're just going to listen to it, it's better if you just listen to it without the music distracting you in the background, like in these fucking Q&As, for example. But the second reason is because the Persona 3 soundtrack is owned by a company called Nextone, and I've been having a lot of issues with them. They've been sending a lot of copyright claims to my channel. They've already demonetized some of my videos, and I reached out to them, and I'm sorting things out with them. Thankfully, they were kind enough to reply to me, and we're in there. We're having a conversation. Thankfully, we'll see how that gets us, but for now, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to use any of their music. I don't want this video to get demonetized. Okay, so the last question here, before I get to your questions in the chat, sorry this is taking too long, the last one I promise. What kind of RPGs are you going to cover? That's really important. So the answer is popular, classics, mainstream, AAA, AA, you name it. But it also depends on how much I think I can say about any of them. Obviously, most obscure, hidden gems types of RPGs won't make the cut because there just isn't going to be a lot of interest in them. Like my Legend of Legacy review. Okay, so Persona 3, for example, is a very popular game and I think there'll be enough interest, relatively speaking. But say I do an episode based on, I don't know, Redemption Reapers? Come on, no one's gonna watch that. I'm 100% sure the episode will fail miserably. And not every single popular RPG or JRPG is going to have an episode. I need to leave some for my regular reviews too, of course. I need to keep making regular video reviews. 5 RPGs I need to talk about, top 10s and shit, so I gotta leave some games, some material for that. And what do I mean by mainstream classics? I mean that if a game comes out, maybe I'll do an episode based on it. Or maybe I want to do an episode on Valkyrie Profile that came out 25 years ago. An old retro game or a not so retro game, something like that. Games that are important to me and I'm a massive fan of and that I think I can say a lot about them. So that's it for now. Hopefully you continue or start supporting me on Patreon. Link to my Patreon page in the description so I can successfully launch this new content. And if you're already a Patreon, hopefully you consider upgrading your tier if you want to fund it more. If you can't financially support me, that's fine. Just make sure to watch or listen to the whole video and preferably disable your ad blocker, at least for this one. Okay, so I can get maybe 10 extra cents from YouTube per ad. Thank you for reading. So that's it. If you want to read through it again, or if you just joined in the middle of the reading, there's this thing that I just read to you is in the description of my channel. Thank you, Wat Khalid. Alright, everybody. So I'm going to start with that question. I know you have a crap ton of questions. I read some question before about some spoilers. But first, Awad Khalid, thanks a bunch, man, for the donation. He says, absolutely love your content, Caesar. Keep it up. Support your content creators every now and then when you can, guys. Take care. Thanks, man. Yeah. Thanks a bunch. Yeah, it's content creators have been doing this for years, but they're slowly trying to rely more on either fan support or sponsorship. I don't want to do any sponsorship. I don't want to have to come here and make 1 minute long ad scripted by the company and open my video with that. Like, hey guys, what's up? Ready for a new top 10? Yeah, that's awesome. Today is going to be top 10 JRPGs that broke my fucking wallet. Not a bad idea. But first, a message from our sponsor and a 1 minute long video. I mean, you guys don't want to watch that, right? So I'm trying my best not to make deals with sponsorships, even though it's been tempting for the past several months because this website is just, there's too many YouTubers, too many content creators, too many gaming channels. There's still inflation going on. And channels like me are like under a microscope because I pissed the shit out of the website many times before. So now they don't let me get away with several things. So yeah, money's tight. So yeah, if you guys can support us, support me, that's great. You will be funding this podcast. Link to my Patreon in the description. I would greatly appreciate it. And it will make you proud to watch the video and say, I funded that. I helped with that. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm serious. Okay, so any other questions? Someone asked about spoilers. Okay, so every single one of my episodes will have spoilers, but I'm gonna leave the spoilers at the very end. In this one, for example, it's like I just told you that it's an hour and a half long video. The spoilers start until like an hour and 10 minutes, somewhere around that. And I'm gonna let you know beforehand. So if you haven't played the game, or if you haven't finished the game, and you still wanna watch the video, don't worry, it's not gonna have any spoilers whatsoever. Barely any, until that part. I'll let you know. I'll say, hey, so, okay, that's it for the review. I'm gonna talk about spoilers now, so spoiler alert. And then if you want to continue watching, up to you. If you don't, that's it. Okay, because let me give you a fair warning. I am spoiling the ending of Persona 3 at the very end. But the first hour or so, there's not going to be any spoilers. And that's going to be the same way on every episode. If I continue this series, it's going to be the same. Any other questions, man? Damn. Missed a lot of them. So a deep dive or retrospective type of reviews, Kevin asked, like 10,000 years ago. Yeah, not exactly a retrospective. I don't want to go back. Well, there is a little bit of retrospective in there. There's going to be for every game. But I'm not going to spend like 10, 20, 30 minutes talking about the history and the background of the game and its development. No, I had a series for that called 10 Things You Didn't Know About. Right? Maybe I'll revive that series some of these days. I don't know. One of these days. But yeah, it's a deep dive. It's a deep analysis. I'm covering every area from the story, the characters, the battle mechanics, the gameplay mechanics, the graphics, the music, everything. It's a big chunk of every single section. And yeah, it's a deep dive, pretty much. Podcast reviews, excellent, says Lou. Yeah, but it's also going to be a video podcast. You can watch it if you want to. It's a video. It works as a video. What else? Oh, that's the spoilers question that I just answered. How about Fire Emblem instead? Maybe, I'll be covering several games. Maybe I haven't gone back to Fire Emblem Engage after that stream, because right now I'm playing Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I'll get to Fire Emblem Engage pretty soon, actually. We'll see. If you could make it to one of those episodes, or if it's just gonna be a review, I don't know yet. But Fire Emblem could be there. So yeah, no spoilers, guys. The spoilers are gonna be until the end, so I'll let you know. Okay, that's an interesting question. How long does it normally take you to beat a game to the point that you can do a deep dive like that for? Well, it's not about how long it takes me to beat a game. It's more about I beat the game and I have a lot to say about it. So that's why this series was born. Announcement: no more swearing. No, there's a couple of F-bombs in there. I like both long and short reviews, so if you cover a game more than once in both formats, I don't think people will mind. Oh, thanks for that. Okay. So about Persona 3 Reload, will you talk about what you liked in Reload versus what you liked before in the original? Yep. I'm making a lot of comparisons between Reload and the original versions. So yeah, it's gonna be a comparison. Who is Caesar again? That's me, that's my real name. That's right. Shocking plot twist. Erick Landon is not my real name. It's just a pen name. It's a pseudonym. I think that's it, right? It was pretty self-explanatory. But whatever, okay, so that's it, yeah. I think I covered most important concerns in the reading that I just did, so we should be fine. Still, if you have any other questions about this upcoming podcast, let me know, okay? And now, back to your goddamned questions. Using the name of the Lord in vain. to offend Joshua. Do you consider Castlevania as an RPG game? Which, I don't consider a single Castlevania game as an RPG, but there are some Castlevania games with RPG elements like Symphony of the Night, Curse of Darkness. Those are the ones that I can think of. Simon's Quest. But I don't consider a single Castlevania game as an RPG. Are we all living in a simulation? Probably. It is very likely we are living in a simulation. The elephant in the room. Why did I shave my beard? And I just did an hour ago. Less than an hour ago, actually. Right before. That's why I was late. I was shaving. It's brand new. Took 10 years out of my life, man. Oh, yeah. So, I just got tired of it. Just got tired of it, you know. No other reason than that. Thank you, Javen. Bonjour from France. He says, thank you for your work. I have discovered many great JRPGs thanks to you, and I'm looking forward to your new podcast. It's awesome, man. Thanks for the donation. You are supporting the podcast now. Erick, if that's your real pen name. Today I got bored and caved for PS Plus Extra. Okay, are any of the Compile Hard Idea Factory games in there worth the time? Depends on the price. Are they free or something? I can vouch for some of those, but I wouldn't pay that much for any of them. Fairy Fencer, the first one, is very worth playing. The second one, not so much. It's a massive grindfest. Stupidly broken ass grindfest, man. So stick to the first one. It's a bit grindy too, but nowhere near as the second one. And there's also, what else is there? Oh, Death Then Request 1 and 2, man. Yeah, those two are the best, by far the best Compile Hard JRPGs ever. So strongly recommended games. And there's also Dragon Star Varnir. It might get repetitive at some point, but it's recommended. It's a good one. Yeah, stick to those four. Those four are some of the best. Is it true that the Trails games have the most detailed world building in JRPGs in general? Yes, actually. I remember when we did a video here called that I called on my second channel the best JRPGs with world building. And actually my pick was Suikoden. That was my pick, but Trails was a pretty close second. Yeah, it's impressive. It's really impressive how the world building in the Trail series has been developed, man. There's a lot of detail, a lot of attention, a lot of things that most people don't care. Most gamers, most fans who play these games don't even care about that little, the vegetation, for example, right? Or the geography of certain areas. Or what kind of lake is this, or what kind of fish are in there, you know, and they developed all of that, you know. They made a huge lore based on that, so yeah. Man, in terms of world building, it's impressive, but I think it helps a lot that this is a series that's huge and every single game takes place in the same place, right? So we've seen games with impressive world building before. In my opinion, Final Fantasy IX has great world building, but there's only one game in that world, okay? That's it, right? So now, and now you look at the Trail series, and from Trails in the Sky all the way to Trails into Daybreak, or is it Through Daybreak? A freaking name, man. Trails Through Daybreak, yeah, which is coming out in a few months. No release date confirmed yet, as of the making of this video. So in all of those games, man, you got more than 10 games that take place in the same universe, in the same continent of Erebonia, right? So, man, yeah, the world building is freaking impressive, and if you start paying attention, if you start reading, most of the Trails physical games come with a manual. If you read through the manual, my special edition of Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 has this big chunk manual, you know, and you read through it and you're like, man, there's also a big map. It's just impressive. It's impressive, but still, I think Suikoden has the best world building in JRPG history. That's it. Suikoden and Trails will be my second pick, definitely. I'm tempted to give the third place to Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm not ready to make a top 10. Maybe I'll make a top 10 about this, but I'm not ready yet. But yeah, Trails, to answer your question, yes, it's very true. Impressive world building, man. And one of the best and most detailed out there. Where do you rank Shin Megami Tensei 4 in terms of the mainline games you've played? There's a video about that called Shin Megami Tensei and Persona ranked from worst to best. You might want to check it out. I'm not that big of a fan of 4. I'm a bigger Apocalypse fan. But SMT4 is great, so it's there. Check out that ranking, man. Right now I can't tell you. I don't remember in which exact place did I rank it. But it's not in the last places, nor is it on the first places. Somewhere in the middle. What do you think about Fire Emblem Engage so far? You watch my my Let's Play. I streamed the first couple of hours, and yeah, I lost a lot of subscribers because of what I said and my reaction. Probably. So, I don't have a strong opinion yet. But based on those 2 hours, the gameplay is alright, the story is garbage. I don't know if I'm gonna change my mind once I finish the game, I'll let you know. But right now, that's my opinion. Okay, so for free in the PlayStation Plus store are Dark Rose Valkyrie. Not a good game. Dragon Star Varnier. That's a good game. Omega Quintet. Bad game. Don't play those. No wonder they're free. What do you think about the combat system in Metaphor ReFantasio? I haven't watched anything about that game recently. I watched the trailer last year when it was announced, but that's all I know. I haven't watched anything, you know. Seems to be a mix of action and turn-based combat, very similar to Trails Through Daybreak. Well, that's interesting. What I think about Trails Through Daybreak is that I remember making a video for my second channel called This is what Final Fantasy VII Remake should have done. That to please all fans alike, they should have given the option to people to utilize turn-based or action. And when I mean turn-based, I mean actual turn-based. Not the fact that you're in the middle of a battle and then you pause to open the menu and select an action. I mean, that's not really turn-based. You know, there's a lot of action RPGs where you can do that. So no, don't give me that crap. Okay? I mean actual turn-based combat. Trails Through Daybreak is gonna be like that. Well, it's already like that because the game's been out in Japan for a couple of years already. But yeah, if Metaphor ReFantasio is gonna be like that, that's gonna be awesome. I feel like that is the way to go for certain games, for certain companies. If a company right now is struggling, like really struggling, deciding between what's the next combat gonna be for their next role-playing game, maybe they should do something like that, like give the player the option. I know it's gonna take more time to develop something like that because you are developing 2 battle mechanics for one game. I know it's hard, but I think it's gonna be worth it. Maybe not for the smaller studios because they don't have a lot of money to take up on that type of risk. But Atlus, you know, and Metaphor ReFantasio looks like it's going to be something big. Maybe not as big as Persona, but it looks like it's going to be something big, something really interesting, something different. So if they're going to do that, if it's going to be a mix of action and turn-based, I think it's the right thing to do, the right way to go. And we'll see how it turns out, right? Do you think not much interest in voice actor topics? I often think I heard this actor before, I don't know where. I think there's a lot of interest. There was a lot of interest in both Japanese and English dub. Not so much nowadays because of the political situation of the world. A lot of a lot of old actors are being replaced by new actors that are just there just for the sake of being inclusive. And it's a mixed bag. You know, some of these actors, inclusive or not, you know, they're pretty damn good and pretty damn talented, while others are kind of like, not so good. So I think that that's a reason why the interest in voice acting, especially in English, has gone down in recent years. I'm not gonna lie, I know a lot of actors from like 10 years ago and before that, but ask me about brand new actors who started about 5-6 years ago, and even some of them are pretty damn popular nowadays. I think I know like 1 or 2. I don't know their names. Maybe I'm getting old. Thank you, DJ No Good, stopping by to show some love. I have been thinking of getting Tokyo Xanadu, and now it's coming to Switch. Any thoughts or insights on this game? I think in terms of gameplay mechanics, it's really good. It tried to be Persona. Let's face it, it's a bit of a ripoff. Not the gameplay mechanics and the simulation in there is not that deep, okay, but it's kinda similar. You have your dating system, your bonding system with people. You interact with your characters. You go walk around school and walk around a town, and yeah, it is a bit like that. There's some mini games in there and blah blah blah, but it's just nowhere near as deep as the Persona series. Okay, just don't expect that. But in terms of combat, amazing combat, man. One of the best action RPGs of its kind. That's great combat. You can switch between 3 characters at the same time, like in the E series. But you don't have party members here. You're on your own. Or you can switch to another character, instantly. But no one's fighting alongside of you. That's a downside in my opinion. But if it isn't for you, you're gonna be fine. So it's a great game. Story is not that interesting. My main complaint with that game is the story. There's a lot of idle stuff, J-pop situations, and modern situations. If you're into that, if you like that, you're gonna love it, right? I think the game's for you. But if you don't like idol culture stuff like that, maybe you're not gonna like it. I didn't finish the game because the idol stuff turned me off, but I made it pretty far, and I don't regret it. Even though the idol stuff kind of ruined it for me, I don't regret my 20 plus hours that I put into the game. I think it's a great game. Would you say that the Mega 10 games have good world building? Interesting question. There are some JRPGs out there that are awesome and that I'm a big fan of. But when it comes to world building, I'll admit that Mega Tensei, Persona included, are not exactly the first games that come into mind. Or I can think of 20, 30, maybe 50 JRPGs that have great world building, just not Mega 10. Not because they don't have, but because Persona only focuses on one city. One small city in Japan. Japan is an island, man. Really small island. So they're focusing on a really small part of their world. So I fucking love Persona, guys, but I don't think they have interesting world building because the games are not about world building or the lore, right? Mega Tensei, on the other hand, most of the games take place in Tokyo, but most of them also only specialize or focus in one single city, in one single town, or in one single part of this or that place. So, no. I'm gonna say no, but not with a negative connotation, because I don't think world building is a part of these games. But what I can say is that the small world building they have is pretty interesting, because especially in the Persona series, you do get to know a lot about the city, about the people living there, about modern times, about stuff that's going on in there, about culture, about social and political issues in there. And the Mega Tensei games are a little bit away from that. They focus more on the gameplay mechanics and on the not exactly the social political situation, more like the philosophical political situation and the religious situation in the world the characters are living in. So it's more about that. And I think it's very interesting. I think whatever really small world building the games have, it's pretty interesting so far. But no, compared to most JRPGs out there, they do not have good world building, but because it's just not the point. Developers didn't make these games and thought about world building. No, they don't care about that. But maybe one of these days we'll get an open world Shin Megami Tensei game. Maybe Shin Megami Tensei 6 is gonna be like that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Compare the world building in SMT with Trails or Suikoden or even some Final Fantasy games, and you're gonna be like, no, man, it's just another level. The real question here, why did the Trails game series take so much time to be officially localized into English? That loyal fans had to resort to translating the games themselves? I've answered this question several times before, so I'll be real quick. The reason is because the company in charge of localizing the games is NIS America, NIS, Nippon Ichi Software. They have a branch in North America, and it's been here for the past 20 years, I think. And come on, they aren't rich, they don't have a lot of money, and therefore they don't have a lot of personnel. They don't have a lot of employees or translators. So that's why they take forever. And the other problem is because I think they have a lot on their plate. They have a lot of games to take care of. I've said this before, I think some of these games should be localized by other companies because they just hoarded a lot of IPs, a lot of series, and now they have this problem. They take fucking forever to localize anything. So, yeah, that's your answer. What did you think about the Sandland demo? Okay, so here we go. I think it's barely a demo, but also I think people were too harsh on it. I remember in the stream, a lot of people were saying that the demo was awful, horrible demo, one of the worst demos ever, and I disagree. Sorry. Give me one moment. I think Sandland, what they were trying to do with the demo was to let the player know and get a feel of the open world mechanics, and it does feel. I played the demo for an hour or so, and the first thing that I noticed about 10 minutes in was that overwhelming pressure of an open world game. Sure, that's just me personally, okay? That open world feature is gonna be awesome for a lot of people, right? But me, I've always been kind of shy when it comes to open world games. I've said this before. A few minutes ago, I said that I'm currently playing Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, pretty much the sequel to the one that came out 4 years ago. And the game's not exactly an open world, but there's this huge city, right? And you can just go around and get lost and doing side quests and stuff and different mini games and whatnot. So that's pretty much an open world game. Maybe not as big as Grand Theft Auto or other famous open world games like The Witcher 3, for example, but it's still kind of an open world-ish, right? And I'm loving it, but I'm also starting to feel kind of overwhelmed by it, and often I tend to focus on the main story alone, even though it's really tempting to see all of those things around me. And man, I want to explore there, I want to go there to see what's up, man, I want to go there, but no, stick to the main story. So the first feeling that I got from Sandland was that, like, there was just this massive place that I needed to explore, and I was like, man, where do I go? And often I found myself while playing the demo, just aimlessly riding on my bike or riding on the tank or running around with no direction whatsoever, just completely aimless, right? And it felt fun for a while, but also kind of boring. But that's just my opinion, I'm not really a fan of open world games. So I think what the developers were trying to do with this demo was show that specific feature to people. Like, I don't think this is going to be a very story-driven game. It doesn't look like it. I could be wrong. Maybe it's going to be one of those games like Trails. It's going to have a crap ton of dialogue and story, world building, stuff like that. I don't know yet. But it gave me the impression that it's mostly a comedy because there was a lot of dialogue between the three characters in the demo. The demon kid and the two old men. And I found that to be kind of comedic. And that's the impression I got, that the game's gonna be mostly a comedy. That's Akira Toriyama humor, pretty much. Remember, Sandland is based on a series of mangas that Akira Toriyama, rest in peace, made about 24 years ago, in the year 2000, okay? So, anyway, it looks like it's gonna be a comedy. So, in terms of characters, I can't say much. I don't think it was a good idea because there's no appeal. Like to release a demo with a main character and two really old men as party members. Like, I'm sorry if you're an old man, you're not interesting. Hell, I'm an old man too, according to Japan. I'm 38 years old, and ooh, that's old as hell in Japan. I'm an old fart, man. But yeah, these guys are these really my party members? Okay. I don't mind because I like some old man. I think JRPGs need more characters like that. But I wouldn't release a demo with just these two guys as party members. But still, they looked interesting. They looked like interesting characters. So, but there was barely any story and any development within that demo. So, not enough to make a strong opinion or to leave a strong impression on me. Combat is amazing. The beat 'em up stuff is like really good. I really like that. The controls and the combo system and the fact that your allies don't seem to join in the fight. They're just standing around, maybe rooting for you. But you have an option to click on a button to summon them to do like an attack or a special attack. This is kind of like Dusk Diver, an indie RPG, action RPG from Taiwan, came out several years ago. It was like that, you know, you will fight solo, and then you click on a button and boom, your party member joins in and does something, right? So it looks like it's gonna be like that. Still, your party members are following you around in there, but the enemies seem to ignore them. The enemies are mostly dinosaurs in this demo because it takes place in the desert, in the Sandland. I don't know if the entire game is going to take place in that, but it looks pretty interesting. It looks like it's going to be focusing on that, on Sandlands. It looks also futuristic, obviously, like everything from Akira Toriyama, mostly everything. So the setting is interesting. The dinosaurs look interesting. There's a lot of people, well, pretty much rogues or bandits, I don't know. And based on that, it gave me a huge impression, like huge vibes from Mad Max. Huge Mad Max. So it was pretty much Dragon Ball Mad Max to me, this demo. Pretty much. But you have the options to fight in the motorcycle, in the tank, or in the robot. The robot combat is awesome. It's a bit chunky, it's a bit sluggish, but it's awesome. No complaints there. Fighting in the tank takes a while to get used to. It kind of sucks. It's not that great, to be honest, because you're getting attacked by a bunch of enemies that are faster than you, and your tank is slow as hell. Tank is great to fight maybe big enemies. You do get to fight like huge elite monsters in there. It's better, right? And then there's the bike combat, and that's the worst. That's horrible, man. I'm gonna use, if I ever get to play this game, the final release, I'm gonna use the bike to traverse from point A to point B, because that's awesome. The controls aren't great, but you know, it saves up a lot of time in a game that's gonna be huge when it comes to open world. It looks like it's gonna be huge. So there you go, but fighting in the bike is just garbage. So overall, and the graphics are great, no complaints there. The music's fine too. Overall, I like the demo. It left me wanting for more. I wish we could have gotten a few scenes, maybe story scenes, or maybe some town interaction, some more NPC interaction, a little bit more, a leveling system. It looks like the characters gain experience, but you can't level up in the demo. So, I don't know, I wish we could have gotten a little bit more well-presented demo, but I'm not complaining, you know. It's not the best demo ever, obviously, but I don't think it's one of the worst I've played. It's good, I liked it. I'm looking forward to the game, but because of the type of game it is, I don't think I'll be able to easily get into. So I don't think I'm gonna buy this on day one. If I get a review code, I don't know who's publishing this game. I think it's Bandai Namco, I probably won't. But if by some miracle they reach out and give me a review code, I'll probably play and review it. But if I don't, I think I'm gonna wait for the price to drop considerably, because it looks like the type of game that I'm not that big of a fan of. Those are my first impressions. Thank you for giving me material for a small review for my main old second channel. I think there's a female similar to Bulma later. Yeah, I saw some screenshots. Of a female character that looks kind of interesting. So yeah. Where are my waifus in Sandland? Exactly, right? Like, what's up with the waifus, man? You release a demo and no waifus? Get the fuck out of here, man. It also kind of looks like Metal Max Xeno. Yeah, a bit. Yeah. But Metal Max Xeno is inspired by Mad Max. That's why I said this is Dragon Ball Mad Max. Do you think every Tales game has good world building? Or name which Tales series you think excels in the world building department. Lots of world building questions here. Gonna make an entire video based on world building now. I do believe that Tales games have world building, which is why most of them are kind of longer than your average JRPG. There's a lot of detail in them. And what I like about the Tales games is that they all seem to focus on elemental parts. Like, you go to this place and there's a lot of fire elemental reference in there, and fire elemental attributes and landscapes and stuff like that. And then there's the woods, the jungles. There's a lot of diversity in terms of geography in the Tales games, and that's what makes them so appealing, in my opinion. One of the many reasons why they're so appealing. I love that. So, I do believe that Tales games have great world building. Maybe not some of the best, like Suikoden or Trails, which is what we were discussing before. But I really do believe that the Tales games have great world building. And there's been games with sequels. Tales of Exilia, for example, there's 2 games. So you get 2 games and you get to experience 2 completely different worlds. Sorry for the spoiler, but I need to use it. 2 completely different worlds, and they're very different. Once you play both games, Exilia 1 and 2, you're like, oh my god, this is great world building, right? And then there's Tales of Symphonia 1 and 2, same, but I always felt like Symphonia 2 takes place in the exact same world, so there wasn't a lot of room for world building in there, and I don't think it's the focus of it, but it's still there. And I think Tales of Fantasia is connected to Symphonia. I think Symphonia is like a prequel to Fantasia, so they kind of take place in the same universe. Berseria and Cesteria are another big one, but they're also like hundreds of years apart. Still, the world building in Tales of Berseria was awesome. I really liked it. Again, it's not the highlight of the game. I think that's a game that shines in terms of storytelling and characters, not exactly in world building, but if you pay attention to the landscape, to your surroundings, to the lore, if you talk to NPCs, if you walk around towns and areas, you can see this impressive diversity in world building, just like Planet Earth. I like that. What are some of the best Tales games in terms of world building? Well, ironically, Berseria. But I think the best one is pretty much Tales of Exilia. I think it had the best world building because there's 2 games. I can't just say, Exilia 1 or Exilia 2. I can't decide, it's both. It's the same world, the same universe, the same setting. So, yeah, I really believe Exilia takes the cake, man. Takes the crown. I think the world building is impressive because there's a lot of medieval looking stuff, a lot of beautiful natural landscapes in there, but also a lot of modern, kind of steampunk-ish world design. So all that combined was just great. So yeah, I think the Tales games have great world building. But like I said before, nothing beats Suikoden. Suikoden is just that type of universe that every game takes place in the same universe, but also every game takes place in like a different part of the same world. And even different continents and shit. And there's a lot of reference, again, talking to NPCs or even some of the story, paying attention to the lore of Suikoden, of every Suikoden title. I mean, you get to experience these like, they're talking about this faraway land, and then it turns out there's a game that took place in that land. And then there's also a chronology based on it, like the first 3 Suikoden games, like sequels to each other, and then Suikoden 4 is like the prequel to them all. And then Suikoden 5 takes place after that, but it's like also a prequel to the first 3 games. It's incredible, it's incredible world building, and how it was handled was awesome. The Ys series did the same thing, okay? Every Ys game, even Origins, it's the same. They all take place in the same universe. It's huge planet, this huge world, and every game takes place in a different part of the world. And yes, the Ys series is another example of amazing world building. Every single one of them, not just the modern ones. Go back and play the older ones. Ys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play from 1 through 6 and you still get a decent amount of world building. Sure, the world building is more impressive starting from 7 and onward. Celceta, the remake of 4, also the same, but there was that world building lore sensation, and feeling in the first games, and you can see that even though they are really small games, you can feel that, like, oh my god, this game takes place in this part of the world, and this small place, is like huge at the same time, and you get to know so much about that little part of the world where Adel is playing, is fighting, is adventuring on, right? But then again, Suikoden is just the best. It's just the best because you play any of the games, and I think one of the reasons why the Suikoden world building is impressive, one of the many reasons why, is also because of the characters, because you go and recruit different characters from different places, from different cultures, and thanks to that specific character, you learn a little bit more about a different part of the world from that particular game. And if you play one Suikoden game, it's not going to impress you that much. You need to play them all. You need to play most of them to really feel like, oh my god, this is another level of world building. Okay, so that's why I think it's the best. You learn so much, and some things resemble real life, Some others are fantasy and science fiction even. But it's just handled it so well, so perfectly, that I can't wait for a Euden Chronicle to come out just to see if it's the same, if it has the same impressive level of world building. Suikoden the best. Yeah, but some of the Tales games are great too. I couldn't resist. Did you think, did the Suikoden remaster get cancelled? No, it just got delayed last year. I think Konami is waiting for an opportunity to strike. I think a Euden Chronicle is going to come out first, and then Konami is gonna decide their release date, probably based on that. Gonna be like, oh, the game wasn't successful? I'll just release it right now to crush it, to sink it. Oh, the game was very successful? Maybe I should wait and take advantage of that success, because if a Euden Chronicle succeeds, Suikoden is gonna start trending, and what's Konami gonna do? Hey! Here's Suikoden 1 and 2! Here you go! Oh yeah, we're gonna sell a lot! So yeah, I think that's what Konami is planning on doing. So no, it didn't get cancelled. What about, I've been playing through Trails from Zero, and I plan on playing through the entire series this year, and so far the world building is pretty, in my opinion. Yeah, pretty good. It's awesome, yeah, so go back to Sky first. Do yourself a favor and start with Trails in the Sky. Sure, it's a bit slow, and the first episode is not that special without the second episode, but if you stick to it and play through the second chapter, you're gonna love it. Have you played Xanadu Next? No, I haven't. I know it's an action RPG. I know the game, but I haven't played it. I spend a lot before leaving town, or still frugal in games. I spend a lot in games now. Sick of being frugal in real life. What a weird question. What? Well, I'm an adult, okay, and I have a lot to take care of. So I can't afford to buy a lot of games, because currently my economical situation on YouTube has changed drastically over the past couple of years. It went down. Freaking inflation, the biggest culprit. So I can't afford to keep buying games galore like I used to when I was living in Canada. And plus, even if I could, I still wouldn't be spending that much, because once again, it's just games prices are fucking stupid nowadays. And one of the most beautiful things about buying games for me personally was collecting retro stuff. Sure, I love buying modern games too. I love that too, but it's just a part of the magic of it was buying retro games. And since almost every retro game that I want, that I'm interested in, is expensive as hell, it kind of ruined it for me. So even if I was rich, I still wouldn't be. I would be buying more games, sure, but I still wouldn't be collecting that much nowadays. Prices seem to be going down. I've seen some of the ones that I own in my collection that during the pandemic they were like $150. Like Suikoden 5, for example. How much is Suikoden 5 right now, according to price charting? Because I remember, I made a video. I made a video about, what was like 2-3 years ago, called Top 10 Best JRPGs You'll Probably Never Played. And the theme in that video was games that were so freaking expensive nowadays, and they aren't available anywhere except through emulation. But they didn't get a digital release or a port or something like that. So chances are, if you don't play on emulation, or if you think emulation is illegal and it's a crime and whatnot, you're probably never gonna play them unless you're rich, right? And I remember Suikoden 5 was there. And back then, when I made the video, it was going for around $150. So that was 3 years ago. 2-3 years ago. How much is it now? Let's check out price charting here. Oh, wow. Look at this. It went down in price. According to price charting, it sells from $90. So it went down $60. Somewhere around that. The PAL version is cheaper. It goes for $48. So there you go. Prices are starting to go down. Hopefully they'll keep dropping more and more so they can be kind of affordable nowadays. I mean, I already own a copy of Suikoden 5, but if I didn't, I wouldn't pay $90. But I will pay probably $50, you know. So hopefully they'll keep decreasing. How excited am I for a Eiyuden Chronicle? A lot. Didn't you watch my video, my review, my preview, my first impressions of it? Check it out, it's on my channel. What is your retro holy grail? That's gotta be Haunting Ground. I think that's my most expensive item in my collection. Haunting Ground on the PS2. I don't know how much it goes for nowadays. Probably at least 250, 300 maybe. So that's it. I think that's it. Also have Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, mint condition. Also have Wild Arms, the 10th anniversary edition, Wild Arms 5, mint condition with the art book and shit. I think special edition. I have a special edition, Japanese special edition of Ragnarok Tactics, and the North American version of it. So that's also kind of pricey nowadays. But I think Haunting Ground is still. I have Xenosaga 3, not the lenticular cover version, just the regular standard version, which is also freaking expensive. By the way, Xenosaga 3, have it too. I think that's it. Why are you asking that? Are you planning on robbing me? In your opinion, what is the biggest flaw with modern JRPGs? I'm trying to make a video about that. It's gonna be called... well, I made a video a couple of years ago called My Biggest Pet Peeves with JRPGs in general. But I want to make one focusing on modern JRPGs, because there's just a lot to say about them, like stupid freaking tutorials, man. Or too overwhelming open world features. Or the radio bodies, like someone's always talking while you're fighting, stuff like that. So I think those some of the biggest flaws in there. I'm still preparing for that video. Kind of want to release that video somewhere around this year. Is Farewell to Cimmeria gonna be the last Trails game? I don't know yet. Nothing's been confirmed. Do you think we will get Dragon Quest Heroes 3? Hopefully. Maybe they are planning on releasing another Dragon Quest game first, called Dragon Quest 12, The Flames of Hope. I think that's the subtitle, right? Because Dragon Quest Heroes 2 was released before Dragon Quest 11 came out. So I think it's too soon for Dragon Quest Heroes 3. I think Square Enix should wait for Dragon Quest 12 to come out first, so Dragon Quest Heroes 3 can have characters from both Dragon Quest 11 and 12. And I think that's gonna be awesome. I will wait if I were there. If I were them. I haven't finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Haven't even played it, man. I just played the demo. Farewell to No Cimmeria is not gonna be the last Trails game. It's the end of the Kudo arc. So there you go. It's the third and final game in the trilogy of the Daybreak trilogy. I used to have every Suikoden game, but I lost all of my stuff a long time ago. Oh, it's awful, man. Oh, that's awful, man. I can't imagine what it will be like. I know what it's like to get rid of some of your games in your collection out of necessity, because you need the money. But I don't know what it's like to be robbed or to lose your stuff somewhere. Oh, man, it's gotta hurt. You have my sympathy. Seems your game of the year will be between Daybreak and Eiyuden Chronicles. Hey, don't forget, East 10 is coming out soon. Okay? And I'm gonna have to admit that Persona 3 Reload is a good contender as well. And I'm really enjoying Yakuza Like a Dragon 2. I have a lot of contenders, man. I had a lot of contenders too last year. It's just the video didn't do very well because, I mean, people were expecting me to put Final Fantasy 16 in the first place, maybe. I have no idea, man. It's like if you don't put the most popular game nowadays in the first place, your video fails. But yeah, I had a lot of contenders last year for the best. I think I'm gonna have a lot for this one too. What do you think has happened to Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D? It looked almost finished from the trailer, yet we haven't heard anything from it for a long time. I have no clue, man. I have no clue what's going on in there, to be completely honest. Zero idea what's going on in there. I don't know why they are delaying it so much. It feels kind of dumb considering we are living in a good time for remakes, especially remasters. But remakes, we have gotten a bunch of remakes since last year. We got Star Ocean 2, Super Mario RPG, and then this year Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth Remake Part 2. So I think it's a good time to be releasing remakes. Not sure what's taking Square Enix so long. Maybe the game is finished, but they're waiting for a good chance to release it, like the right time to release it, and maybe they feel like right now it's not the good time. It's not a good time. So, yeah. Someone joined Patreon a while back. Thanks a bunch. Oh, Inane Dreams. If you're still watching, thanks. Welcome to Patreon. Thank you. You are now officially supporting my upcoming podcast. So, just real quick, I already talked about this about an hour ago, but I'm launching a new series, a new video, next in a couple of days, and I kind of need funding for it. Well, I don't need funding for this video, I need funding for the next one. If it does well, I'm gonna make a second episode, but I'm gonna need some funding apparently, because I'm gonna have to do a little bit of unscripted content, completely unscripted and uncensored. So yeah, you know what that means on a website like YouTube, right? If I'll criticize certain thing, I might offend everybody, and YouTube's gonna shadow ban the video. So I'm asking for funding for this project. They're big videos. They aren't like regular reviews or regular top 10s or whatever. These are like deep analysis, like over 1 hour long analysis of a specific game, of a specific RPG. More information about this on the description of this stream. You will find a link to my Patreon page and also a link to my blog. Click on them and keep them up. Keep those tabs up. If you want to read them after the stream is over, or if you want to read them right now, be my guest. You'll get a lot of information about what's this all about, what's the fuss, what's all this fuss about. Yeah, you're gonna read everything about that in there. But yeah, basically I'm launching a new idea, like a big, deep, strong analytical reviews. And I'm gonna do that starting next Tuesday with Persona 3 Reload. Well, pretty much all versions of Persona 3. But the video is focused on the remake. And I want to keep doing that. You know, I had a blast doing the video. I already recorded the video. The video is ready. So I'll upload it in a couple of days. I had a blast. So get ready. You know, if you don't want to support the channel, the least you can do is disable your ad blocker. Or just watch through the whole video. Or watch it through parts. I don't know. Just watch the video. That's what really matters here. Do that. It is important to be, not that important, but if you want to subscribe to this channel and then click on the bell so you get notified if I upload the video, because maybe in 2 days from now you'll forget about this, what I'm saying right now. So click the bell and you'll be notified when the video is live. And maybe after watching the video, because I know most people are gonna wait to watch the video and to make their decision if they want to support it and if they want to fund it. And how you can fund it, just go to the description of this stream right now, and there's a link to my Patreon page, and all the information, all the details are in there, so check it out. And yeah, there are different ways to support this channel: $1, $3, $5, $10. You know, make your pick, and you'll be officially funding this new video, these new types of videos that I'll be doing. They need funding, people. I'm serious. I feel terrible asking for money, but it's not. It's like a Kickstarter. You know, help me kickstart this new video series, because editing a video like this, a 1 hour and a half video, oh man, that takes time. Okay, so yeah, link in the description. Fund these videos; they're gonna be great. And that's it. Pretty excited for this. Pretty damn excited. All right, worst JRPG game of the year. So far, I don't know, man. I haven't decided yet. It's too soon to tell. I don't really pay attention to, like, I don't know, for example, last year I played a couple of JRPGs that weren't that great, but I wouldn't call them like the worst JRPG of 2023. No, man. One candidate was Loop 8, Summer of Gods. I didn't play it last year. I played it recently because I got it recently. And it wasn't that bad, but I haven't finished it. I only streamed for like 2 hours, and that's not enough in my opinion to say if a game is really bad, unless it was that bad. There's been games like Natural Doctrine. You don't need to play more than 2 hours to realize a big pile of dog shit. But this, it left me wondering. Loop 8 left me wondering, like, you know what, this is not bad. It's not great either, but it's not bad at all. So maybe I need to keep playing it to realize if it's really that bad or not. But apparently a lot of people consider Loop 8 as the worst JRPG of 2023. But yeah, I didn't play a single JRPG last year that was abysmal or like horrendous, you know. No. And I haven't played a single one of game like that this year. What do you mean my video fails? Is he referring to the lack of views or lack of positive reception? Views. Oh, and there's a lot of videos out there with a huge lack of positive reception, and they were successful. I remember I made a video years ago called "The Most Disappointing JRPGs So Far." I think it was like a 2019 video, and right now it has like 100 and something thousand views. So it's a pretty successful video, and I'm pretty sure it got a lot of negative reception because, you know, people, you know, they get offended when you criticize their games or when you point out their flaws. Like you say one bad thing about Final Fantasy 16 and half of the world hates you. But so no, positive or negative reception is kind of irrelevant. Although there's been some negative reception in some videos that kind of ruined the video. I remember when I did 5 RPGs I need to talk about last year, speaking about Final Fantasy 16, and the game was included in there, and the list of games wasn't that great, apparently. There wasn't a lot of interest in the rest of the games, and all of the attention went straight to Final Fantasy 16, but my opinion was based on the demo, and that pissed the shit out of people, man, so bad that the video failed. So yeah, there's been cases where the negative reception of a video makes it fail, but not about the video offending people. Or maybe there's been videos before that were kind of bad, or the script was bad, or the list of the games were kind of bad, or I don't know. That also contributes. But yeah, when I say my video fails, I mean that it was planned to get more views and it didn't reach the expected amount of views and it failed miserably. That's what I mean. But it's pretty complicated because there's also some videos out there that I put and they have like 12,000 views. For example, I made a video called "The Worst JRPGs According to Metacritic." But the type of video it is, when I made the video, I was like, a lot of people are not going to click on this. This is not going to be a successful video. It's not going to get like tens of thousands of views. So I was like, I think this video is going to get between 10 and 15,000 views. And that's exactly what it got. So to me, based on my expectations, that it wasn't a successful video, but it wasn't a failure. It did as expected. Okay? So it's just a random example, but it's pretty complicated. I usually set I don't do that anymore. I decided to not do that anymore and always set the bar to the lowest expectations possible. So, but that's what I used to do. But it's pretty complicated. Top 10 Erick Landon videos that fail surprisingly. I'm not gonna do that video as a video. I'm not gonna do it as a video, but I'm gonna do that on my blog. Link to my blog in the description. It's pretty much my official website, everybody. Link to it in the description. Tons of interesting posts so far. It was dead for a long time. It died years ago and it was dead for years. And I recently revived it about a month ago. So it's there. There's been some interesting posts in there. One post about the upcoming video podcast series. One post about the future of my channel and my current situation with YouTube and other stuff. And I think I'm going to do that video. 10 videos that were supposed to be successful and they failed miserably. Although one of them has been deleted. Like the top 10 JRPG remakes, best JRPG remake so far, I deleted the video. I explained why in the previous Q&A. And there's already I turned into a clip for my main channel actually. It's called the big problem with remakes and remasters. You can look it up right. I released that clip like 5-6 days ago. Have you played Sea of Stars? No, just the demo. So you streamed the Legend of Legacy HD Remaster recently? No, I didn't stream it. I reviewed it. I reviewed the game a couple of days ago. Did you ever finish the game? I didn't have enough time because I got the limited edition like 3 days before. So I was like, yeah, I played it for as much as I could and I made a review. Fortunately, the Legend of Legacy, I think it's a game that you don't necessarily need to finish it, because it's one of those games where for the first 3 to 4 hours, you get a pretty good idea on what the entire game is going to be like. I feel the same way about the Saga games. The Saga, Romancing Saga, Saga Frontier. After all, these games were the inspiration for the Legend of Legacy, and some of the people who worked on the Saga games worked on the Legend of Legacy. This Legend of Legacy is pretty much a Saga game, okay? And those games are like that you don't need to finish them to get a real feel out of them and pretty much review them. But yeah, I didn't have enough time to finish the game. There's not a lot of interest in that game anyway. I feel like finishing the game and putting 20, 30, 40 hours into it for a review that not a lot of people are going to watch because of the type of game it is, I just didn't think it was worth it. How much does a YouTuber make? I've no clue, man. This website is so freaking weird nowadays that it's impossible to answer that question. Every single YouTuber makes something different. Back in the day, like 3-4 years ago, when I was still in touch with some other YouTubers, most of them didn't want to talk about it. They wanted to keep their numbers a secret, and me too, actually. But it seemed like everybody had like way huge differences between revenue. It's just weird, man. And I heard that you get like $1 for 100 views or something. No way. Oh my god, imagine getting $1 per 100 views. I will be fucking rich, man. Do the math. Maybe you meant 1,000 views. But $1 for 100 views, I will be filthy rich, man. Oh, maybe not rich, but I will be pretty wealthy. No, you may mean $1 per 1,000 views. That's more accurate, but it's so weird. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. And sometimes it's so weird. I've talked about this before, that I've had videos with like 20,000 views, and I made more money out of them over a video with 50,000 views. This website makes no sense, man, so I can't answer that question. I don't know. I don't even know how much I make. Which video was your most successful? In terms of what? In terms of money? I am not answering that. But in terms of views, just look it up. Just go to my channel right now, go to the videos section, filter them, select the most popular, and you'll see there the big PSP video that I made almost 10 years ago. Top 10 best PSP RPGs, no commentary video. That has like 790 something thousand views. So in terms of views, that's been my most successful video. However, in terms of success, because that video is 10 years old, in terms of success, relatively speaking, I think my most successful video ever made is one that I made last year called Top 10 Best Mature Rated JRPGs. And right now it has 400,000 views. So 400,000 views in 1 year versus 790 something thousand views in 10 years. I mean, just do the math and you tell me which one was actually the most successful. So I think the mature rated video is the most successful of them all. And YouTube tried to demonetize it once, but for some reason I made my case and I won, and it's still monetized. A mature rated Hidden Gems video though wasn't that lucky. It was demonetized for good, and YouTube gave me the middle finger. Like, Erick, we are demonetizing this video. Go fuck yourself. You can't do shit about it. Hey, but you can't do shit about it. But you can't do shit about it. You're fuck you, man. Fuck you, man. That's what happened to me. The story's right there in my blog, actually. Do you have a favorite unit in Unicorn Overlord? There's this witch, I forget her name. You get it early in the game. She's kind of weak at the beginning, but if you level her up and train her, she becomes one of the best units. There's also the one of the most powerful units in the game is the Griffon Riders, the big creature riders. Oh man, they're so broken. Mages can be broken too if you train them well, but the Griffon Riders are like, wow, Jesus, they're so kind of broken. But you know what? I think I like the main character himself, Alain. He's kind of not, I don't want to say broken, but he's one of the most powerful units from the beginning of the game. And because he's the protagonist, you kind of need to train this guy a little bit more than the others. So he's one of the most powerful units in the game. The Lancer, what's the guy's name? The guy in the horse. One of the earliest Lancers in the game. I forget his name. That guy's also like really badass too. But I think my favorite is this little witch you get. But you get, as the game advances, you start getting more and more broken ass characters. It's hard, in a game like Unicorn Overlord, it's hard to pick. It's like, what's your favorite unit in a Fire Emblem game, right? It's like, oh my gosh, just so many to choose from. Yeah. Y'all always in Erick's pockets. Okay. While it's true that Mega 10 games aren't known for having the best world building, I think that they compensate it by having mature themes and demon conversations that give personality to them. I absolutely agree with that. Can you do a top 10 list of Kemco games? I don't think I can. I've only finished 2 Kemco RPGs in my entire... No, 3 Kemco RPGs in my entire life. And the rest, I only played them for like 1 hour, and I don't think I've played more than 10. So, no, I can't. I'm surprised the 80 JRPG Series 1 doesn't have the most views. The 80 JRPG Series? Oh, the tier list that I did. Oh, yeah, you're right. I think it's because of the type of video, because it's a tier list. Tier lists usually don't get a lot of views. Maybe because people don't find them that interesting to watch, or I don't know. I don't know why, but yeah. It has like 50 or 60,000 views, right? Not that many. Anyway, what do you think of Adol from the East series? I heard some fans are getting tired of him as a protagonist because he's kind of a blank slate. Okay, he's always been a silent protagonist. What do people expect from a silent protagonist? Or maybe they're getting tired because we've gotten like 4 East games or 5 East games in the past 6 or 7 years. Maybe Falcom needs to chill out and focus on other games first, and maybe release an East game every 5 or 6 years or so. We've been getting a lot of East games lately. Maybe that's why people are getting tired of it, of Adol. I'm not tired of him. If they remove Adol Kristin from the East series, there's gonna be a huge outrage, man. I guarantee that. Adol is gonna be there forever. Or maybe we need an East game with Adol as an adult. Like a real adult, not a 21-year-old kid. No. Like a 30-year-old guy. Like an adult, like an old man, according to Japanese terms and slangs. An old man, or an old as hell man. 30 years, you got one foot in the grave already, man. I'm kind of surprised that Persona 3 Reload has sold more copies than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Really? Where did you get that information? I find it hard to believe. But you gotta consider Persona 3 Reload has been out for almost 2 months, whereas Final Fantasy VII Rebirth hasn't been out for not even 1 month. It's been out for like 2-3 weeks already, only. So give it some time. Pretty sure it's gonna surpass it. I missed a question. What's my number 1 non-RPG waifu? Non-RPG waifu, huh? Alice from Alice Madness Returns. Easy. That was easy. That's my number one waifu. I love that crazy ass character. I got my torch and pitchfork at the ready whenever you criticize my favorite game. Way to go, man. I heard that Final Fantasy 16 got some Easter egg for Final Fantasy 9 possible remake. I don't think so. I mean, I didn't see it. I didn't see the Easter egg, but I don't think so. I think it's a fact that Final Fantasy 9 is getting a remake. But I wouldn't say it's going to be released this year. Like I said before, I think Square Enix should focus on finishing Final Fantasy 7 first, instead of just remaking another one of their big classics. But that's just my opinion. You know, Square Enix nowadays, their business decisions are like... what? I don't get it. No. We're not going to talk about the waifus right now. No way. Adol enters the world of Trails. That already happened in a fighting game on the PSP, which I own, by the way. Only in Japan. And it's precisely called Trails vs. Ys. It's a fighting game with Trails in the Sky characters and Ys characters. Ys most specifically from the Odin Felgana. So that already happened. But maybe Adol could be some kind of DLC character in the Trails games, I don't know. Or maybe a proper RPG crossover, not just a fighting game exclusive to Japan. Some kind of crossover between Ys and Trails, like a fighting game. Oh, I already said no. Maybe a Musou game between Ys and Trails. Ys Trails Heroes. Well, Square Enix doesn't have the best reputation nowadays. They haven't had a good reputation for the past 20 years, actually. I think Square Enix is a company that it just got too big, right? And the bigger you get, the more dramas you get, the more controversies you get, and the more your reputation suffers. It's praised constantly and ruined constantly. Forever. Take that from a really small guy, from an ant, freaking ant, a bug, an insect compared to Square Enix. But if that happens to an insect like me, imagine Square Enix. So Square Enix, yeah, there's a lot to talk about Square Enix. There's always something about that company in these Q&As. Maybe that's why they didn't send the special edition. I'm just kidding. When you compare Suikoden to Trails, what aspect of Suikoden does better and what aspect Trails does better? I think Suikoden is better than Trails in everything. I can't think of a single... Well, okay, I'll give you something that Trails does better. It has more modern graphics, but that's kind of unfair because Suikoden stopped being developed over 10 years ago. So it's kind of unfair. I'm thinking music. I love the Trails music. And I love rock and metal, but I think Suikoden has this something about the music that's just better and more unique to it. So, storytelling, characters, gameplay mechanics. Sorry, man. I think Suikoden is better in everything than Trails, but that's just the fanboy in me answering that question. Trails has Risha and Emma. Suikoden has Jean. You can't beat that. Jean, you can't fucking beat that. And a plethora of sexy ass waifus in every entry. Suikoden's better than Trails in everything. What? Have you played The Third Age? That RPG based on the Lord of the Rings. What's your opinion about it? I played that game on the PlayStation 2 many years ago. Played it by myself for a while and then started a playthrough with my brother because that game has multiplayer cooperative mode. Sure, you're the player is doing all that. No, actually, no. I think that's one of the games. This is what Final Fantasy should have done. Remember the old Final Fantasy games? 9, for example, 4 and 6 also have a multiplayer mode, but the second player only plays during battle. But in the third age, I think I remember that if you give the control to the player assigned to the second player, that player can move around and go around and explore towns and cities. That's what me and my brother did with the third age. And that's what made the game more bearable, because it's such a brutally hard video game. Stupidly hard, man. I just can't believe it. It's such a difficult game. Is it good though? It's good. It's very good. I think you need to be a big fan of the series of the Lord of the Rings universe to appreciate it. Your average JRPG fan might not like it because it goes deep into the Lord of the Rings lore, and it is based on the game takes place between the books. Actually, it doesn't follow one book specifically, but you create your own character, your own protagonist, and off you go to this world. And sometimes you'll get joined. Sometimes characters from the series and the movies join you, like Gandalf or Aragorn in there, or Frodo. You know, they join you for a few missions for a small part of the game. And I thought that was awesome, you know, being able to be your own character and going there and being joined by all of these characters from the books and the movies that we all know and love. So that was an awesome idea. And the combat is turn-based. This is a game where the battle system is turn-based. Believe it or not, the music disappeared. So I think what I'm trying to say is that it's no masterpiece. It's not one like, hey guys, wow, you need to play this game. It's very recommended. No, because it's not gonna be for everybody. And again, it's just too difficult. You know, me and my brother found ourselves grinding a hell of a lot until we eventually got tired. We made it pretty far. We made it to the big battle in the towers, where you gotta defend the towers, you know, and Gandalf makes an appearance. In that scene, I think it's from the Two Towers, the movie, the second movie. So we never got past that, but I'm pretty sure we hit at the very least the 15-hour mark or the 20-hour mark. So we made it far. We never finished it because it was just too hard for us. But it's really good. It's a really good game. Just not like, wow. It's one of the best Lord of the Rings games now that I think about it. Well, out of the ones that I played, I haven't played that many. There's also a strategy RPG that I played on the PSP. I forget its name. That was kind of okay-ish. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was interesting, to say the least, but I got bored real quick. So I played others. I played the other PlayStation 2 games. They're like more like action games, hack and slash games. They aren't that great, to be honest. They have their fans. There's a lot of fans for those games. But I wasn't the biggest fan. So I guess the third age, I mean, I'm kind of biased because I love RPGs, right? So saying the third age is the best Lord of the Rings game I played, it's probably going to sound biased, but it is the best Lord of the Rings game I played. I also played one on the 360 called, I forget its name. It was a real-time strategy game. Kind of weird. Couldn't get into it. But yeah, you need to be a die-hard fan of the Lord of the Rings to appreciate the games. I'm not a diehard. My brother is a diehard. I am not. So I'm not the best one to have an opinion on Lord of the Rings games. But I would like to cover that one day. I keep forgetting. It's one of those games that I should cover in a video or two. I don't think I've ever talked about it, maybe just in one video in my entire lifetime. But I'd like to cover it again, but it's been, wow, like 15 years since I last played it. I will need to play it again to refresh my memory and say, oh, and finally be able to write something about it, to review it. But it's a good game. Have you watched a Serbian film? No. Do any of your family or friends watch your channel and live streams? Friends, yes. Oscar, I have a couple of friends that do watch my streams, and one of them is a big fan. I hope she's watching right now. So, yes, they do. Oscar doesn't watch, he's not really a fan of my channel because RPGs are not his favorite genre. Actually, it's one of his least favorite genres. So, it's kind of weird that we're friends, but we're friends. And we've been friends for like 10 years already. But yeah, he watched some of my videos, yeah. Family, though? I don't think so. No. I don't think so. What are some good JRPGs that have horror elements besides Kudelka and the Shadow Hearts games? Well, you got Parasite Eve, you got Death and Request 2, you got Redemption Reapers, wasn't Final Fantasy 16 kind of like a dark fantasy theme, but not really, no horror stuff in there, so no, doesn't count. Persona 3, there's blood everywhere and crimes and people shooting themselves to... I mean, there are some horror elements. Shin Megami Tensei, a lot of their games have a lot of horror stuff in them. There you go. What's the best game for making the story interact with gameplay? The Persona series, I think the story and the gameplay are so intertwined, so interlinked, that it's impossible to tell them apart. I think the story and gameplay in Persona is like one and the same, almost one and the same. It's kind of hard to tell them apart. What Western RPG will you want to be made as a JRPG? The Lord of the Rings, the Third Age. Yeah, maybe a Lord of the Rings game developed by a Japanese studio. Probably, yeah, that. Maybe there's one out there already that I don't know. Meh. Not The Witcher, definitely not. Not Dragon Age, definitely not. Maybe Mass Effect. Ooh. Come at me with your pitchforks and torches. Gather with your torches. Do that. Lynch me for saying a Japanese studio should develop a Mass Effect game. Hey man, really love your videos. I was hoping you could do a list of modern JRPGs that are totally standalone, no sequels or prequels or anything. Really tough to find one like that. Shouldn't have read that. Somebody already stole that idea and is going to do it before me. Huh. Modern JRPGs that are standalone. Got that. I'll keep that in mind. No sequels or shit like that. I'll write it down. So I don't forget. Yeah, even in my own videos about modern JRPGs, there's at least like 1 or 2 sequels or prequels or something like that, you know. Yeah. Alright, dude. I'll see what I can do. What is your best unit in... somebody already asked me that about Unicorn Overlord. There was a game called Shadow of Mordor that was good, based on The Lord of the Rings. I didn't play it, but I know the game. I haven't played it. What's your opinion on Sea of Stars? Haven't played it. Just played the demo. I really enjoyed the demo, though the story and characters were kind of bare bones. Not that interesting, but it's just a 45-minute long demo. Too soon to judge the characters and the story, right? So I only played the demo and I really liked it, but I haven't played the game. No problem, Hong Luong. Hong Luong, I probably mispronounced that, sorry man. No problem. I don't think I can choose a favorite unit in Unicorn Overlord. So it's such a game with so many characters, it's hard to choose one. The closer to Lord of the Rings are the record of Lotus War games. There's one... I played one on the Dreamcast. It wasn't that great. And then there's the new one, which was a bit of a Metroidvania, came out a couple of years ago. I remember, I forget the name. I almost bought it. Deedlit in Wonderland, something like that. Yeah, but the one on the Dreamcast was like, it wasn't bad, but it's pretty much a Diablo clone. It's not great. I've seen the anime, Record of Lotus War. Pretty iconic anime. Nowadays it's like, it's been done before, but back in the day, if you watched it when you were a kid, you know, we were all in love with the elf. I think I watched it when I was like maybe 14, 15 years old, and wow, the elf girl was like everybody's crush. She was so hot. She had a different name. Obviously, I didn't know. My English wasn't great back then, so I watched the anime series in Spanish, and she had a different name. I forget her name. Yeah, I think her name in English is like Deedlit. Deedlit, yeah, in Wonder Labyrinth. Thanks, David. Yeah, Diddly, that's the name of the girl, of the elf, but she had a different name in Mexico. If a trio crossover was in development, what 3 JRPGs do you want in it? I've answered that question before. Suikoden and Fire Emblem is my dream crossover, but it's probably going to be ruined by Konami. And if it ever gets developed, it's going to be a pachinko machine, most likely. Or if Intelligent Systems develops it, it's going to be a fucking idol waifu simulator. So I really hope, as much as I would like for it to happen, I hope it never happens. But 3, well, Fire Emblem, Suikoden, and Valkyrie Profile, maybe? No, it probably wouldn't work. Well, yeah, it could work. But Valkyria Chronicles, for some reason, I think it will work better. But no, I don't know, man. What kind of unit do you really dislike fighting in strategy games? In some, I just fucking hate archers. They are the worst, man. They can attack from afar, and they're usually being defended by other units, and it's so hard to get straight to them without being... I mean, the archer towers in Unicorn Overlord. Oh, man! I'm getting some OCD right now, man. Fuck those guys. Fuck them to pieces. Fuck them to hell, man. The archer towers in Unicorn Overlord. Fuck those guys, man. But in some strategy RPGs, in some others, they're okay. They're okay, you know. In some Fire Emblem games, they aren't as annoying, even though some are equipped with longbows and can attack from 2 squares away, 3 squares away, right? But they aren't that annoying. Archers aren't usually that big of a problem for me in most Fire Emblem games. So, healers are the worst. Healers in some strategy RPGs are the fucking worst, man. Especially in the hardcore ones. I mean, it's taking you forever to deplete the enemy's HP. And all of a sudden, this asshole shows up and heals him. And you want to kill the healer, but there's no way. You gotta take care of the guy first. I mean, some really annoying healers out there, man. Healers and archers are usually the most broken-ass units and most annoying units in strategy RPGs. Fuck those guys, man. Or any unit that can attack from afar. In Fire Emblem, the most annoying unit, nothing beats the ballista. Nothing. Or that fucking mage with a spell that can hit you from like 50 squares away. And you always gotta tank that character with someone so they can deplete their spell. Usually it's just 5 uses, 5 attacks. You tank 5 times and that's it. Thankfully you're done. That's why I do that. That's what I do in most Fire Emblem games. Imagine playing fucking Fire Emblem Thracia with units like that. Or with Ballista. Oh, fuck me, man. No, you think, I don't know, the Blazing Blade was hard, Path of Radiance, maybe Awakening were hard because of those units? You ain't seen shit, my man. Genealogy of the Holy War says hello to you. Yeah, fuck those guys, man. Which game puts you to sleep the most? Usually when a game puts me to sleep, I don't play it. So yeah, it's boring, right? So I don't know. Will you write a book based on one of the East games? No, really. If I were ever going to write a book based on a JRPG, it will be a crossover. I already did that many years ago before I even published my first book. What was it, like, fuck, man, it's been like almost 20 years since that. Wrote a little fan fiction book called The Chronicles of Melbourne. I think it's gone. I don't have the file yet. If I still do, it's gotta be on my old computer, my old laptop. But I haven't checked it out in years. Maybe it's there. I think it's gone. It's in Spanish. Most of you wouldn't care. But it was a crossover. And I finished the story. And it was about these 3 main characters. Original main characters. That it's kind of like Kingdom Hearts. I'm not a fan of Kingdom Hearts, but it's a bit like that. these characters, each of these characters get sent to a world where, like in Project Cross Zone, I didn't play these games back then. They didn't exist, but it was kind of like that. That's why I love Project Cross Zone. When I play those games, I was like, hey, that's just like that book I wrote. They stole my fucking idea. No. If it was like that, these characters get sent into a world where dimensions are getting crossed over. And I remember the first chapter, the main character had Robin, I think that's his name. His initial party members were Zidane from Final Fantasy IX. It was Roxas from Kingdom Hearts 2. And I don't remember the other one. There was another one in there. And they were like, what am I doing here? Well, one of them knew. I think Roxas kind of knew what was going on. Yeah, I know, right? It's fucking crazy. Come on, guys. I was like a 20-year-old brat when I wrote this story. But yeah, the point is that if I ever write a story based on JRPGs or something, it will be a crossover, not just based in one. That would be boring. I don't know. No, I'd rather write my own stories. Ah, man. Have you ever played Shadows of the Damned? That's getting a remaster and people are pretty happy about it. They sent an email to me. When was this? I'll read it to you. Here we go. 2 days ago. Shadows of the Damned, hella remastered. The Hell Traversing Road movie action adventure game will launch on Steam, Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation consoles. I did play this game on the PlayStation 3 a long time ago. And even though it's not my type of game because it's a third-person shooter, I really liked it. And I put like a couple of hours into it. Yeah, it's good. We're excited to share some more information about Shadows of the Damned. Hella remastered today, the remake. It's a remake. See what I mean? See what I mean? Shadows of the Damned, hella remastered today. But then, the remake of a 2011... See what I mean? See, what's the problem with remasters and remakes? Like, what the fuck, man? Is it a remake or a remaster? The title says remastered, but then the remake of a 2011 action-adventure game by Suda51... Dude, you're just confusing people even more. Like, people nowadays... I'm not gonna go into this rant again. I already did that. Watch my video. God damn it. Anyway, so... Whatever. Check out the trailer. More information here. Kind regards. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Is there a review code somewhere around here? Well, I'm not gonna ask for a review code because I'm just not gonna review this game. I mean, if I do a review about this game, are you gonna watch it? No. It's gonna get like 3,000 views and... So, I'm happy that the game is getting remastered. If I ever see it for dirt cheap, I'll play it. Because I like the original game. Never finished it, but I liked it. I feel side quest design is very tiring in JRPGs. Another thing I dislike in modern JRPGs. You know what? All of them. The big primary reason why there's barely any JRPGs that I can count where I did a lot of side quests or all of them. Very few, even retro ones, you know. One of my main reasons is because they're usually the same quest recycled over and over again. There's this NPC that needs you to get 3 fucking herbs in the middle of a dangerous forest. You go in there, get the herbs, come back, and you get a healing item as a reward. That's a JRPG side quest for you. And that's why I skip most side quests in JRPGs, and I've been doing that since I was little. Since I first played Super Mario RPG. Well, there's barely any side quests in there. But I don't know, Chrono Cross or other Final Fantasy games, you know, Wild Arms. There's like that, I mean, shit. And back then it was more annoying. If you think it was annoying, it's annoying right now, nowadays, in modern JRPGs. No, my man, imagine getting to like, I need this item. I need you to bring me 3 items. The first one is in this dungeon. The second one is in this other dungeon, and the third one is in a jungle, and you need to go to those places. You need to get out of town, traverse the overworld with random encounters, and then get back to that dungeon you already beat with random encounters, and then go all the way to the end to find it, God knows where. You finally find it, you fought through a lot of random encounters, and then you can't teleport back, man. Oh no. No fast travel, man. You gotta exit manually through the dungeon, random encounters again, walk back through the other world, go back to town, and you're just done with the first item. So repeat the same process 2 more times till you finally go back, and your reward is a fucking useless weapon that you're not gonna equip anymore because you already got the best equipment from somewhere else. Those are the JRPG side quests that I very often skip in video games. And then some people look at me and like, man, you don't appreciate JRPG, you just rush them. You only put 40 hours in Xenoblade Chronicles, what's wrong with you? I put 100 hours. Damn. Damn. Do you feel a JRPG side quest design is Oh, I already answered that. Yeah. You get a high potion. Yeah, you get an elixir that you're gonna keep in your inventory until the end. You're gonna hoard all of those items that you're not gonna use. You're gonna beat the final battle and your inventory is still up through the roof, completely full. That happened to me with Persona 3 Reload recently, but I did use a lot of items. I was like, man, in this random battle, I'm just gonna use a Balm of Life. Usually Balms of Life, I save them for the final boss or the final battles, right? No, I already knew that was going to happen, so I was like, I'm just going to use my Balm of Life right now. My most powerful, precious item right now, I'm going to use in this random encounter. I don't give a shit. And I still beat the game, no problem, on normal mode. Have you played a game where the random encounters are harder than the bosses? There's a lot of them. There's a crap ton of them. Especially nowadays with the elite, the Monster Hunter influence, right? Persona 3 Reload is no different. There's a lot of them. Yakuza Like a Dragon, we saw that in Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles was one of the first games when we started seeing that. Are you just walking around an area and you're level 5 and all of a sudden you see this freaking huge ass monster that's level 50 in there? It's like, what the hell, man? You know, that's Monster Hunter for you. The Monster Hunter influence. Star Ocean 5 is one of them. There's a lot of them. I think this is something that started happening in the PS3 era. There were some examples. There's gotta be an example of a game like that in the okay, Dragon Quest 8. I think I remember getting into some random battles where the enemy was like ridiculous. And then there was that Thornberry guy in Final Fantasy 7, 9, 8, 9. I think it was in Final Fantasy 8. A Thornberry piece of shit, man. You couldn't defeat it and beat the crap out of it. Killed you, game over, and you were like, what the hell, man? So yeah, it's been there. That's been there since forever, you know, but it got worse when games like Xenoblade Chronicles came into existence. It became a trend. But it's all thanks to Monster Hunter. That's a Monster Hunter feature right there. It's Monster Hunter right there. Last questions, guys. What game has the best side quest that you have played? Like I was saying, I don't pay a lot of attention to side quests, but there's been some really fun side quests. Like, for example, Yakuza Like a Dragon 1 and 2 have a crap ton of side quests that are worth going through. Because you get scenes, you get dialogue, you get some fun out of them. You get some comedy maybe, or you get some character development, you know. Those are the side quests worth doing. I also did a lot of Persona 3 Reload side quests because, well, most of them were mandatory if you wanted to date Elizabeth. And she's such a funny character, such an amazing character that's your reward. Dating Elizabeth, right? So those are the 2 most recent examples that I can think of. Do you remember in Final Fantasy VI that island where the random battles were against dinosaurs? They will kill you in 1 or 2 hits? Yes, I do. At the end of the game, before the final boss, I went to that island and grinded in there. And that was a lot of experience. I did the same in Final Fantasy VIII, in a big fucking mistake. Did you play Lollipop Chainsaw? No, I missed my chance. I never got it when I was still a reseller. I think I may have gotten it and I sold it quickly. But I would have loved to play it. I'd like to play that game, but right now it's kind of expensive. It's like on the $40, $50 range. Thank you, Ahmad. You're my go-to guy for JRPGs. Yeah, I'll think about that video. It's a good idea. I think the one in East 8 are good. How else are you gonna get reputation points for the true ending? Well, yeah. Okay. I think we could play Aprilis. I wish we could play as Aprilis in East 9. Yeah, me too. I love that game. It's my favorite East game of all time. I like it more than Lacrimosa. But my biggest complaint was that you can't play as Aprilis. That was so disappointing, man. Very disappointing. Lollipop Chainsaw will get remastered soon for PS4. Awesome. Oh, and with today's modern... Why PS4 though? Why not PS5? No, people, I haven't become a PS5 elitist. No. But yeah, why not PS5? I just bought some games for PS5. Got myself a copy of... She's my sister's coming over. And she did some game hunting for me yesterday. And we got a Plague Tale Requiem. Finally, I'm a big fan of the first game. I can't fucking wait to play this one. But I gotta give priority to Infinite Wealth first. And then I got some Guilty Gear. The previous Guilty Gear, the last one was Strive, right? Not that one, the previous one. Xrd, Revelator, £5. I was like, shit, get it for me. Got myself an indie RPG called Children of Morta. And then a weird one called Potion Permit that I kind of regret, but it was kind of cheap. And then I got Tormented Souls, finally, that survival horror game. I played the demo and loved it. Really want to play the full game now, and I finally got it. Yeah. So, why isn't Lollipop Chainsaw on PS5? Hope it gets released on PS5. But if not, I'll play the PS4 version. Once it's like $10. You're welcome, Donsk. You're very welcome. Thanks for the comment. Last questions. Hylix 2? What the hell is that? Hylix 2? Never heard of it, man. And why 2? And why shouldn't I play the first one first? Hylix 2? I don't know, man. Hylix, they are on PC. You're new to this channel. The Vic 3? I don't play on PC. I don't. My computer can't handle it. It's just, nope. Not good for gaming. This laptop is not good for gaming. It's good for other stuff, but not for gaming. It can handle Game Boy Advance emulators. Maybe with luck a Nintendo DS game or two. And that's it. Didn't realize that you saved your beard. Some of it, most of it actually. I kinda want to go all the way, man. Maybe I will. Diablo is a no saga for you? It is. I played the first one on the PlayStation 1 many years ago when I was a kid. Didn't like it. And I played 3, Diablo 3, at Oscar's house. We made a video about it actually on our channel in Spanish. That was ages ago. And I just didn't like it. It's not my type of game. Something about the Diablo games, not the difficulty. It's just... I find them kind of very repetitive and monotonous for some reason. They have a lot of personality. Diablo 3 had some great things to it that I did like the lore and stuff like that, but I just couldn't get into it gameplay wise. Diablo games are no for me. I just bought a PS5 now. I'm a PS5 connoisseur. I don't know how to pronounce it, but connoisseur. Freaking French. I shouldn't criticize other languages. Freaking Spanish. Spanish, man. Anyway, so welcome to the PS5 Club. The video is still in the channel. If it is, I'll go watch it. Yeah, it is. games. Is it? I don't remember. Some of my old reviews with Oscar they were... I don't know if it's there, I mean, look it up. I don't remember. Some of them got lost. There was one I did about Xenoblade Chronicles, like 9 years ago with a friend. And I lost it. I lost it, man, for some reason. Fuck, man. There was also one about Eternal Poison in Spanish. But that was when I was still making reviews in Spanish. Gone. I don't know if the Diablo one is gone. Can't wait for the Grandia and Grandia 2 on the PS4. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna try Helix. I should try them, even though I explained to you that I can't play them, man. Okay? It's easier to say that. I can't play them. The end. So I'm not gonna try them. Dragon's Dogma 2 is dope. Oh yeah, it was released a couple of days ago, right? Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna make my Legend of Legacy review. Everybody's gonna watch it because no one cares about Dragon's Dogma 2. Yeah. I don't know why some companies decide to release some of their games the exact same day when the big triple fucking A game is being released. I mean, it's an extremely obscure video game in the first place, Legend of Legacy, but no, Miss America was like, sure, it's a good idea. When should we release this game? Oh, Dragon's Dogma 2 is being released on April 22nd. Oh, let's do the same. It will sure compete and crush Dragon's Dogma 2. Sorry, Miss America, it didn't happen. The video is gone from Discusión Gamer. Yeah, it's one of the... There's like 3 or 4 reviews in Spanish that I did like many years ago, and they got lost. So that one got lost. That's awful. Anyway. Review of Tales of Exilia. Yeah, there's a bunch of reviews from my old reviews in Spanish that I uploaded on Discusión Gamer. Just for fun. Rise of the Ronin and Princess Peach was the exact same day. There you go. Rise of the Ronin, for fuck's sake. I mean, that's a highly anticipated game, like a Souls-like game, right? Legend of Legacy, the Legend of Legacy stood no chance, man. No chance. Imagine if Legend of Legacy trounced Dragon's Dogma. That will be the day. No, it's coming, man. Next month, the end of April, check it out. Check out next month, man. Check out next fucking month, man. All of these games released around the same, between days. Here I have them all. April. I mean, you gotta be shitting me, man. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, April 23. Megaton Musashi Wired, April 25. Saga Emerald Beyond, the latest Saga game, April 25. Sandland, April 26. Stellar Blade, April 26. Wow, that's gonna be a battle. Holy crap. That's gonna be a battle. I mean, no one's gonna care about Megaton Musashi because that's such an obscure game, but the real competition, fuck, man. Wow, that's gonna be a battle next month, man. Did you like the look of the new Contra game called Operation Galuga? I did. I liked it. I played the demo. I enjoyed it. It's just as hard as the old Contra games. Apparently some kind of reboot of the original games. Sure, there was some inclusive stuff in there, you know, but I didn't mind. I liked it. I liked the demo. I like the new look. I mean, those guys, developed by WayForward, those guys are quality. They've done some bad games in the past, but most of their games are quality. So yeah, I'm glad WayForward. And they developed Contra on the Nintendo DS. And a long time ago, that was a great game too. Rise of the Ronin seems that was a critic failure. I don't know. I don't really care about that game, so... Eiyuden is on Game Pass. Those games always get some attention because a lot of people can check them out for free. Okay. I don't have an Xbox, unfortunately. Only PlayStation and Nintendo. Obscure RPGs in next year. No, I think that it would have been a great idea some years ago, Donsk, but nope. I feel like people don't give a shit about obscure games anymore. Because there's so many AAA games nowadays and AA games too, that indie games and obscure games are getting crushed from all sides. Sadly. Did you play Lies of Pi? No, I don't like Souls-like games. I think Ayuden will be pretty big. It already is. It is, I think it's the third most successful Kickstarter of all time. Believe it or not. The first one, I think it's Bloodstained, or was it Shenmue? But it's up there with the big ones. It got millions of dollars, man. So I think it's gonna be pretty big too. Do you have the PS Plus premium subscription? I have 0 PS Plus subscriptions right now. There aren't really any obscure RPGs anymore except for those that are untranslated. No, there's a shit ton of obscure RPGs, my man. A crap ton, you just don't know about them. There's still a lot of them. They're still being released. It's just people don't know about them because of what I said. All the attention is getting towards the mainstream ones, the AAA, AA games. Right now, I mean, it's just sad to see so many obscure games that are really good and fail miserably because nobody cares about them. That's why they are obscure. Exactly. Can't wait for Ayuden. Can't wait for Ayuden either. One more. Well, for you, one more month. Me, hopefully, I'll get a review code in a couple of weeks. Julio Iglesias. I don't really care about that music, man. I don't like pop music, especially not Mexican music. But yeah, I didn't play Lies of Pi. Alright, everybody. I think that's it. Think I'm gonna what do you say? Bounce? Think I'm gonna bounce, yo. I'm bounce, bro. Think I'm gonna bounce, bro. Well, I did one called Top 10 Super Obscure Gems, RPG Gems, a couple of weeks ago. Didn't do very well in views, man. Well, there were a lot of games that I had never covered before. But yeah, it's just a JRPG channels apocalypse nowadays. Like 10,000 new JRPG channels making the same content as people like me. They ruined it. That's all I want to say. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you got a great time. Hope you had a great time. And remember to check my links in the description. Like, please read the blog. And please consider supporting my new video podcast that I'm about to launch in a couple of days. So yeah, new video coming soon. Pretty big video, important video. It needs some funding. The series needs some funding. And I'll link to all of that stuff in the description. Hopefully you can consider supporting this channel. Take care, everybody.